What's up, everybody? It's your boy Dandy here one more time, and we're talking about Elden Ring this time, specifically the final boss of the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC. And that's going to be Consort of Radahn, the Promised Consort. It's a crazy boss fight, one of the craziest among all the Souls games, in my opinion. Maybe not the most fun for me specifically. The first phase is incredible. The second phase I seem to struggle with a lot, and that's why I'm making this video. There are some people, I know plenty, my brother being one of them, that dove right into this boss fight and said, I will not back down. I am going to fight this person with the build that I have worked this entire game, and I will beat them. And after 500 tries, he did. But if you're like me, that's not how you have fun with these games. If the boss has a mechanic that you can learn to overcome, that's one thing, but this boss just has so much tight timing, so it's so ridiculously hard that I found that after about 300 tries, I was more anxious just to actually beat the boss than to continue learning how to fight it. At that point, I'd recognized most of the moves. It was just so hard for me to learn with the time I had to play how to avoid them, and I felt like I lost a little bit of that every single time, so I'm going to go over kind of a cheese build, what is probably the easiest build. If you've looked up how to beat this boss, you've probably seen it already, but let's get right into it. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about the items that I used for this build for maximum damage. So first up, you're going to wear the Black Dumpling Mask. The Black Dumpling Mask gives you a damage spike when you suffer from madness. So temporarily, you deal a lot more damage. The Rakshasa Armor, gauntlets, and legs all make you slightly weaker but make you deal more damage, which is important, so that's going to be the armor set. I'm going to be using the Perfumer's Talisman, which raises the potency of perfume bottle attacks, the weapons and such, including its Ash of Wars. I also use the Shard of Alexander. Shard of Alexander raises the potency of your skills, so the strength of your skills makes your skills stronger. The Lightning Scorpion Charm, because specifically I am using the Lightning Perfumer's Bottle and the Lightning Rolling Sparks move. And then I added Golden Braid at the end for myself just to help tank a few extra hits in the second phase of the Radahn fight, because there is holy damage being tossed around like crazy in that part of the fight. It's insane. So, you could also use the Aged One's Exaltation. This is another really good one for dealing more damage after you've suffered madness. But I didn't need it for my fight, which I'll get into in just a second here. So another very good charm, though. If you feel like going to get it, it can be very difficult to get because it's from one of the new DLC enemies that is otherwise untouchable unless you know how to parry and have a high resistance to madness. So beyond that, I used the Lightning Perfumer's Bottle plus 25. It's a Dex Faith weapon, so I did end up having to respec my character for Dex. But and then any incant that you want to make sure, or any seal you want to use incants. I also use Golden Vow, because Golden Vow gives you slightly better defense and slightly more attack for a limited amount of time after activation. And then because I used all of those different items that require you have madness, I used Howl of Shabriri to build up that madness, because it gives you a buff after using it for a small time, and also builds your madness very, very quickly for yourself, a lot quicker than many of the other madness spells. So that was the dream combination, the stuff that I used to fight. The tiers, I used Opaline Hard tier personally. It just boosts your physical damage negation, and I thought that was really important. And then I used, not the Magic Shrouded Cracked tier, the Lightning Shrouded Cracked tier, which is right below the Opaline Hard tier. I forgot to flip down to it when I recorded this. But, yeah, those are going to be the combination there to get you going. And I also had Boiled Crab as a backup. It just gives you about 60 seconds of damage negation, which was really helpful. You can buy it en masse, and it's really helpful for surviving the first little bit of the fight. With this attack pattern specifically, you're going to be going really, really, really fast through the fight. So here, let's jump over to when the fight actually happened, and I'll show you how I beat it. Alright, so when you get up and get ready for the fight, you have to do a whole bunch of things. So in this order, cast Howl of Shabriri to start building up your madness. After you do that, quickly cast Golden Vow to get that buff online. Switch back and continue casting Howl of Shabriri until you proc madness. So after you are stricken by madness, which should only take a few casts, boom, madness goes off. At this point, go ahead and drink your physic. Get back your mana specifically. and then go into the room. You can heal if you want. I didn't feel the need to. Radahn's pretty typically going to lead off with this attack, roll through it, and then you want to cast the Ash of War Rolling Sparks at his feet. You see I did 11,000 damage there. So every time you get the chance, I mean, it took 2 attacks to kill him. You have to unlock your camera and aim the Ash of War at his feet. You see here, I started the fight by it. I'm going to take damage because of that, but with how much damage you deal, it was worth it. And with that damage negation, you'll survive it. So, and then it's just a matter of knowing enough of his moves to survive the fight long enough to kill him. This makes it so much easier because you can deal, you know, 9,000 to 11,000 damage if you land this Ash of War correctly. So at this point, I'd fought him a couple, you know, 100 times or so. When he goes into phase 2.5, always just run directly away from him wherever. That's the best way to survive it. You might take a little damage, but for the most part, you should be fine. Gives you a good opportunity to heal. And then this is the best move you can look for because that's the easiest move to dodge in phase 2, and you can almost guarantee a victory there. So you can see he almost got me, but it really is just use that Ash of War, cast it at his feet, and watch the boss absolutely disintegrate. I tried a bunch of other builds. I never went with the shield poke build. That's another good build you can look for. This was just the easiest for me because I like light armor and rolling. But after so many attempts of the boss, I just wanted to get to the end of it, and this seemed like the best way to do it. It's an absolutely incredible build. So again, if you know, I think that you should play this game however you want to play it. There will be people telling you that that's a cheesy way to beat the boss, and it is. It's the most powerful build that I could find. But I beat every single other boss as a mage using Glintstone Pebble and Carrion Slicer and, you know, all kinds of other little weapons. I was a mage up until this fight, and I got to a point where it stopped being fun, and I just wanted to get through it to see how this DLC ended without having to cheese or cheat my way through it as much as possible. So obviously, again, this is a cheese, but it's about having fun with these games. It's not about suffering. So either way, that's all I wanted to get into with this video. I just know a lot of people are struggling with this, and for those of you who want to beat it and, you know, want to say that you did it, all of the items I used are within the boundary of the game. You know, I don't consider it cheating personally to use items, stack items in the game that are provided to you. I didn't mod engine any of those in. There was no, you know, no exterior help. I just looked up, you know, what item combinations worked best and still had to utilize enough skill to survive the fight to get the 5 or 6 hits off that I truly needed. So I hope this was helpful to y'all. Obviously, if you have any more questions, please let me know. But I appreciate you for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Later, everyone.